Hello everybody, my name is Boodlyneck and today we'll be taking a second look at Alex's mobs. The version that I'm using is for Forge 116.5, and since the last video, this mod has added 20 more incredibly well thought out and designed mobs. I went over the first 18 mobs in a previous video. If you haven't seen that one yet, I'll put a link in the description and at the end of this video. I'm going to be using a lot of shaders. I'll put the name of the shader that I'm using at the bottom right at the beginning of each clip, and I'll put the name of the mob and where you can find it at the top right. And I think that's all we need to go over. Let's start this tour off in the cold. Moose are giant herbivorous mammals that can be found in snowy tundras and taigas. If attacked, they can use their massive set of antlers to deal dangerous levels of damage. And like many mammals, moose are very protective of their young and will fend off any predators. Every 7 to 10 days, they have a chance to drop one of their antlers, and it takes 3 to 5 days for them to grow it back. You can use these antlers to craft an antler headdress that adds knockback to your attacks while worn. And finally, moose can be bred using dandelions, and when killed, they drop raw moose ribs, which can be cooked for a good meal or used to breed our next creature, the snow leopard. These large cats can be found in snowy mountainous areas. While not aggressive towards humans, these are likely to be seen stalking livestock. They arch their back and sneak up behind their prey before dealing a devastating leap attack. These are such proficient predators that their kills often yield extra drops. And moving from the tundra to the ice, we find seals. These are mostly aquatic mammals that can be found on beaches and icebergs. They like to bask in the sun and sleep on any ice or sand that they can find. If you feed a basking seal 3 fish, it will scour the seabed for an item to give you in return. Usually this is going to be junk like kelp or sand, but occasionally it'll find rarer items like shark teeth, scoots, and nautilus shells. If one seal is attacked, the entire pod will try and flee into the water, where they're more nimble and have a better chance at survival. These creatures can swim circles around most other aquatic species other than their ultimate predator, the orca. Staying in the water, blobfish are gelatinous fish that can be found in the deepest oceans. Naturally gray and compressed, these become a pink pile of sludge if under less than 10 blocks of water pressure. You can right-click a blobfish with a slime ball to allow it to survive on land. And when slain, you can combine 4 blobfish with a bottle to create fish oil. If you douse yourself in fish oil, it gives you the oiled effect, which allows you to levitate in water and in rain. Moving to warmer water, we have the Mantis Shrimp. These giant crustaceans can be found in the reefs of warm oceans. They like to hunt tropical fish, guardians, and squid, and believe it or not, their favorite treat are shulkers. If out of water for more than 5 minutes, these will begin to dry out, but you can sneak right-click a tamed shrimp with a bucket of water and it can live on land indefinitely. And to tame a mantis shrimp, you need to feed them 10 to 30 tropical fish. Once tamed, these guys can be pretty helpful. They can be made to follow, sit, wander, and break blocks. Sneak right-clicking them with the block will give it to them. And when told to break blocks, they'll seek out and break any blocks that match the one in their fist. And working our way out of the water, alligator snapping turtles are aggressive beasts found in swamps throughout your world. These are willing to attack any creatures that find their way in front of its beaked mouth. While aggressive, these reptiles are not very active. They move so rarely that it's common for moss to build up on their shells over several days underwater. You can shear these mossy-shelled turtles for a chance to get a spiked scoot that you can use to upgrade the turtle shell helmet. This new upgraded version has built-in knockback resistance and will occasionally knock back melee attackers. Staying in the swamp, next up we have a stork-like bird called a shoebill. These creatures are so timid they're unable to be bred by people, and they'll take to the skies if attacked. Shoebills are made for fishing, and that's what you'll find them doing most of the time. Occasionally, while looking for fish, they'll find items that are of no interest to them but may be useful to you. You can feed them crocodile eggs to increase the lure effect on their catches, and blobfish to increase the luck of their catches. They also like to feed on baby crocodiles and turtles. Sticking with birds, next up we have crows. These pesky birds can be found in forests and plains. They can often be seen circling fields and damaging crop growth. They'll pick up and devour any food item that they can fit into their beaks. To prevent this, all you need is a carved pumpkin to scare them away. Crows are another very helpful pet to have. You can tame them by tossing them some pumpkin seeds. Once tamed, they can be made to sit, wander, follow, or gather. If made to sit on a hay bale, they'll regain health and will fly around this hay bale later when told to gather. When a gathering crow picks up an item, it looks for a container with the same item that it has in an item frame. And as you can see with the furnace, the crow will put the item in the same side that the item frame is on. This way you have control over where the fuel goes. When set to follow, a crow will fly around its owner, eventually trying to sit on their shoulder. And when defending their owner, they peck their attacker, dealing low enough damage not to make the monster aggressive. However, crows do deal extra damage to undead targets. Raccoons are small neutral mammals that can also be found in forest and plains biomes. These pests can often be seen stealing food from chests and barrels. They do look adorable while begging for food, but in general, it's a waste to give them any, with a couple of exceptions. You can tame them with chicken eggs while near water, and you can breed them with bread. And when killed, they drop their tail, which can be used to make a frontiersman's cap, which grants a speed bonus while sneaking. Elephants are giant land mammals found roaming savannas in large herds. While the tusked version is the strongest and has a devastating charge attack, these massive mammals are capable of a variety of other attacks they can use to protect their herd. They can often be seen standing up and tearing leaves off of trees in hopes of getting a rare treat, the acacia blossom. These can be fed to babies and non-tusked elephants to tame them, or grown elephants to breed them. Tamed elephants can be ridden, have chests placed on them for storage, and carpets placed on them for decoration. Tamed tusked elephants can be made to charge by feeding them wheat while riding them. This speeds up the elephant and damages any creatures in its path, but it's very draining on them and they'll need a break afterwards. Occasionally, wandering traders will show up in warm biomes riding trader elephants. These are likely to have loot in the elephant's chest from the trader's previous dealings. I waited for hours hoping one would show up so I could show it to you guys. Unfortunately, none showed up while I was making this, but it's a very cool feature added by this mod and I thought you guys should know about it. Going from extremely large and majestic to small and disgusting, cockroaches are foul insects found underground away from light. Just like in real life, they'll eat any food items they see laying around, which can make them a nuisance in some areas. They're also the natural prey of cave centipedes and will attract them to wherever they are, making them an even bigger nuisance. Unless you're farming cave centipedes, then this could be pretty handy. Cockroaches aren't all bad though, they have some interesting and useful features. When slain, they have a chance to drop cockroach wing fragments that can be crafted together and brewed into a potion of bug pheromones. This potion allows you to go undetected near any hostile arthropods. And finally, my favorite feature of the cockroach. If you give a cockroach a maraca, the song La Cucaracha starts playing, and all nearby cockroaches begin dancing to the music, having a fiesta. Any cockroaches that you give maracas to will put on sombreros and start shaking their maracas to the music. I'm not sure if the version of La Cucaracha in the mod is copyrighted, so I had to swap out the music just in case, but trust me, their version is so much better than what I was able to find. And if you kill any cockroaches wearing a sombrero, they have a small chance of dropping a sombrero that you can wear yourself. Okay, now on to the more obscure creatures added by this mod, starting with the Mungus. These relatives to the Guardians are strange fungal creatures that can be found in mushroom fields. Occasionally, you might see one with mushrooms growing out of the mycelium coat that covers them. If you feed them more of the same mushroom that's growing out of them, more mushrooms will take root. When a Mungai has one or more mushrooms, they'll fire a beam similar to the Guardians at nearby mushrooms of the same type, either growing more mushrooms, or if it's over mycelium, it may become a giant mushroom. And finally, you can breed these cute little guys using mushroom stew. And I really don't know if you can get any cuter than a baby Mungai. These things are adorable. Next up, we have Gusters. These are vengeful spirits that manifest in deserts during storms. These hostile creatures can throw their targets into the air or shoot them with the stream of sand. They're also known for tossing dropped items, making gathering them a pain. They have fairly low health and armor, but are resistant to projectile attacks. And when slain, they can drop sand and occasionally one of their eyes. Guster eyes can be crafted into a pocket of sand, which is a ranged weapon that uses sand as projectiles, and gust maker blocks that release gusts of wind when powered by redstone that can push mobs and items around. Going from hot to even hotter, moving into the nether, we have the warped toad. This giant amphibian covered in glowing shroom-like fungus is native to warped forests. They're excellent swimmers in lava and in water, and their favorite prey are flies and crimson mosquitoes. These are neutral and can be tamed and bred using crimson mosquito larvae. Their love of crimson mosquitoes makes them a very helpful pet to have in the nether as a defense against these giant mutant insects. And when killed, warped toads have a chance at dropping netherwort and shroomlight. Soul vultures are the withered remains of long-dead birds that haunt the nether's soul sand valleys. These undead birds can be seen circling the giant skeletons that litter the landscape. If approached, they can use a health-stealing attack up to 5 times on their prey. If slain afterwards, they have a chance to drop their soul-infused heart. Using this heart, you can brew a potion of soul steel that gives the drinker the same soul-sapping ability. These birds are the natural enemies of piglins and are often prey for bone serpents. And if we move over just a little bit to the Basalt Delta, we can find Straddlers. These giant aggressive relatives of Striders are much hardier and capable on land, lava, and water. They use their long netted hair to launch Stradpoles at their targets, which can deal a decent amount of damage. They drop basalt, and if you're lucky, they'll drop stradolite, which can be used to craft a straddle board. These boards float in lava but sink in water, making them a fast but risky transportation method to cross the large lava lakes of the nether. While fast, they're prone to snapping and tumbling if you hit a ceiling or wall while riding them, leaving you to sink to your demise in molten lava. Stradpoles are the immature larvae of straddlers, found in shallow lava pools of basalt deltas. You can catch them with buckets, and you can feed them crimson mosquito larvae to grow them into their adult form. These cute little guys are equally at home in lava and water, making them a nice addition to any aquarium. And finishing up the nether, we have the warped Mosco. This is a powerful mutation of the crimson mosquito. If a crimson mosquito sucks the blood of a Mungus covered in warped fungus, it will mutate into this dangerous creature. These are extremely hostile and will attack any nearby creature using any of its many attacks, and heal itself with the blood of its foes. These can drop some of the materials required to upgrade the blood sprayer into the Hemolith Blaster, a more powerful version of this AoE weapon. And finally, working our way to the end, we find the Spectre. These are distant relatives to phantoms that can be found in the Great Void between the islands of the End. These passive beings can only be damaged by magic, although currently there really is no reason to attack them as they don't have any drops. You can lure them to you by holding a soul heart, and once close enough, you can attach a lead and use this as a new way to travel through the End. And last, but definitely not least, we have the Mimicube. These are relatives to Slime and Magma Cube and can often be found guarding in cities. These gelatinous creatures possess a powerful magical ability to mimic the weapons and armor of their attackers. This means the better gear that you have, the tougher this opponent will be. When slain, they can drop some of their magical gel called Mimicream. With this cream, you can duplicate any damageable item, getting almost all of the enchantments on it too. The duplicated item will have 0 durability though, meaning that it will need to be repaired before you can use it. As you can imagine, this cream makes Mimicubes a highly sought after mob. Okay, here we are, time for some Easter eggs and hidden references you may not have caught. I don't know that these are all, I'm just gonna fill you in on the ones that I know. If I miss any, let me know down in the comments. Okay, starting with the Easter eggs, you can name a Mungai Drip and he'll get some pretty sweet sneakers, which I'm assuming are some Jordans. If you name a gorilla Harambe, he'll get a halo, RIP Harambe. If you name a gorilla DK, he'll be reskinned to look similar to Donkey Kong. If you name a Guster Twister, they get some silly googly eyes, which I believe is a reference to Mario. Pocket of Sand is a reference to King of the Hills, Pocket Sand. Fish oil causing you to levitate in the rain and water, I'm assuming is a reference to the cover yourself in oil meme. There's a couple things I didn't have time to show in the Cockroach section. These aren't really Easter eggs, you can find them out just by reading the guide. Occasionally, if cockroaches take just enough damage, they'll lose their head and they can still function without a head. And you can cover a cockroach in Mimic Cream and they'll start flashing different colors. And I think that's everything. I can't think of another single thing to cover on this. They're still putting out updates though. As a matter of fact, they just made an announcement. They just hit 1 million downloads. So I want to say congratulations to the developers and thank you for making such a great mod. I also need to give an extra big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Their names are up on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to make the videos that I do. I want to thank each and every one of you too for watching and for liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all the stuff that you guys do. I really do appreciate it. Keep playing, keep having fun. We'll see you guys next time. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. That link for the first video that I made on this mod is up in the top left right now. If you haven't watched it yet, you should definitely check that one out. It's got 18 more incredible mobs. If you like this video, I guarantee you'll like that one. You may even like it more.